I want to talk a little bit more about the brain because there's some important things to know about it that affect people's behavior, but also affect their ability to connect in meaningful relationships, whether they're young or old. Imagine yourself getting away on a trip on one of those big ocean liners. You save money up all year and got yourself on one of those trips to the Caribbean or somewhere. You're out on the deck of the ship. Life is good. Oh, yeah, life is very good. And you're thinking to yourself, I'm blessed. If that wasn't enough, you're getting text messages from people back in Oregon saying the weather's terrible. There's ice storms and sleet, and it won't stop raining. And it just makes you so happy the weather's miserable back in Oregon. You're reading a trash novel. Basically, nothing to stress you out except like where will you eat lunch. That's the biggest decision you have to make for the day is where are you going to eat lunch. We have it on the 7th deck with that Polynesian, or maybe go to the top where they're having the barbecue. Oh my gosh, just thinking about it makes you exhausted. You take a nap. At one point, you're reading your book and a little piece of paper gets away from you. You find yourself up out of your deck chair chasing it across the deck. The next thing you know, you've got your hand on your hat, and when you look around, you see that other passengers have their hands on their hats, and you realize the wind's really picking up. It's then that you notice in the distance a kind of cloud stuff. It looks like gray steel wool, and it's occurring to you, oh my goodness, we're going into a storm. So you start to gather up your belongings to go below deck, when as you're going through that big metal door, you see something you can't believe. In a giant gust of wind, one of your fellow passengers is swept off his feet and he disappears over the railing of the ship. You can't believe it. Did I just see that? But then you see your fellow passengers rushing to the railing. You rush there too, and sure enough, stories below. These ships are impossibly large. You see this man in the water screaming at the top of his lungs, help, help! He's swallowed up by the water and spit back out, help! And then you hear one of your fellow passengers yell, man overboard! Man overboard! Call a human services provider! There's a man overboard! And in what seems to take place in another kind of slow motion, a very well-dressed man and a very well-dressed woman, dressed to the nines in business suits, come out on the surface of the deck. They walk so slowly across the deck. They look over the railing. They see the man down below screaming and hollering. And the man, the well-dressed man, has in his hands a megaphone. And through the megaphone shouts to the guy down below, that's attention-seeking behavior. And until you calm down, we are not going to provide you with any support whatsoever. You laugh, but I think it happens all the time to the people we support. They're terrified, and we barely seem to notice.